Take a look at this, 4 minutes. The exact same rate as Pelé and better than Romario, Zico, Ronaldo and Neymar. He's the most informed Brazilian player on the planet, breaking records in the Premier League and across Europe with Chelsea. And behind him, a terrifying army of talent. João Pedro, the best Brazilian number 9 in the world, Richarlison, the golazo specialist, Vitor Roque, reborn as the Tigrinho, Matheus Cunha, Rodrigo, the tireless comeback hero of Real Madrid, Rafinha, arguably the best player on the planet that FIFA still refuses to fully recognise, Neymar, the king of the Seleção, and Vinicius Jr., one of the most dangerous players alive when he's happy. In midfield, Andrés Santos and Casemiro flank Bruno Guimarães, Brazil's new heartbeat. In defence, they boast Gabriel Magalhães, leader of Arsenal's backline, the best defence in Europe, plus Marquinhos, captain of PSG, and Éder Militão, making up a trio of elite centre-backs. And in goal, the most expensive goalkeeper in football history, Alisson Becker, guardian of Anfield and the Maracana, all of them coached by Carlo Ancelotti. And if this is Brazil's squad for the 2026 World Cup, then every other national team has a massive Brazilian problem. Beyond the names, Brazil's aura is something entirely different. There simply cannot be a World Cup without the Brazilian national team. The tournament itself feels incomplete without them. Brazil helped shape what the World Cup became. They brought the light, the flair, the elegance, and yes, that unmistakable mystique that defined the competition through the middle of the 20th century. They hosted in 1950, won in 1958 and 1962. And then arrived in 1970 with a team that didn't just win, they hypnotised the planet. Add 1994 and 2002. And Brazil stand alone as the kings of multiple World Cup titles. But the past 2 decades have been harsh. Since 2002, Brazil have stumbled again and again. The deepest wound, of course, was the infamous 7-1 collapse to Germany. At home in 2014, a heartbreak that scarred a generation. Yet even beyond that, they've been knocked out in the quarter-finals in 2006, 2010,
the great Brazilian team,
2018, and 2022.
Croatian players up there, and the shot!
For many nations, that would be respectable. For Brazil, it's a crisis. Those repeated failures have eroded confidence and created a permanent national inquest, a never-ending examination of what went wrong and what must change. And now, with the 2026 World Cup approaching, Brazil are done asking questions. They're coming for answers. After Tite stepped away following the 2022 World Cup, Brazil aimed higher than ever. They wanted a proven winner, someone capable of managing big egos and steadying turbulent waters. They wanted Carlo Ancelotti, the man who rebuilt dynasties, calmed storms, and delivered trophies everywhere from Milan to Madrid, Brazil into the 2026 World Cup. But the road to Ancelotti was chaos. 3 years of flirting, negotiating and waiting meant Brazil went through 3 different managers, each with different ideas, different systems, and zero continuity. Ancelotti didn't walk into a project, he walked into a storm. He will need every ounce of his experience, composure, and intelligence to bring order to this team. So, what does Brazil look like under Ancelotti? Good question. He has only coached 8 matches, so the blueprint is still forming, but we can already see certain shifts. Casemiro is back, adding experience and defensive balance. Vinicius Jr. has been tested in a more central role. Estevão has been given far greater prominence. And Neymar's return to the national team is now part of the plan.
Neymar está bien. Neymar está mejor que otro, como otro, va a jugar la Copa del Mundo.
Tactically, a fluid 4-2-3-1 seems the likely shape against weaker opponents logical, considering Brazil's ridiculous attacking depth. The real question is how Ancelotti will strengthen the midfield against elite teams. His results so far, neither spectacular nor disastrous. In qualifiers, Brazil drew with Ecuador, beat Paraguay, destroyed Chile, and lost to Bolivia, closing out a chaotic campaign. In friendlies, they demolished South Korea, lost to Japan, beat Senegal, and drew with Tunisia. So why should the world fear Brazil at the 2026 World Cup? Reason 1, because Ancelotti only needs time. He is one of the greatest managers the sport has ever seen. 5 Champions League titles, 2 with Milan, 2 with Real Madrid, 2 with Paris Saint-Germain, and 1 with Chelsea, 3 with Real Madrid, the only coach in history with that achievement, plus league titles, domestic cups, club World Cups, and European Super Cups. When the dust settles, Ancelotti delivers. Reason 2, because the individual talent in this squad is not normal, and when these players click on the pitch, they become unplayable. Now we have to begin with the terrifying reality of their attack, because this front line is not normal. Brazil have more options than any other national team on the planet, and some of Europe's brightest stars are at their disposal. Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo have already won multiple Champions Leagues under Carlo Ancelotti at Real Madrid. It was with Ancelotti that Vinicius reached his absolute peak. Yes, both have been inconsistent lately. Rodrigo only just scored after 33 matches without a goal. And Vinicius can switch from unstoppable to unhinged depending on the day, but no one can deny the truth. When Vinicius locks in, he is Brazil's most important weapon. He never fully convinced for Brazil, even when he was unstoppable for Madrid. But maybe Ancelotti is the man who will finally unlock him at international level. Vinicius has evolved year after year. He no longer only dribbles, he scores, he creates chances, and his passing has become a decisive weapon for Madrid and Brazil. His best version still comes from the left wing. When he faces forward, he is impossible to contain. He has an innate ability on the ball, elite vision, and lethal finishing. If Ancelotti brings out his Madrid-level form, Brazil become a different monster. But the biggest rising star for Brazil right now is Rafinha. Under Hansi Flick at Barcelona, he delivered a Ballon d'Or level season, 34 goals, 26 assists, and a level of dominance never seen before in his career. His current form matters enormously for the national team. Flick enhanced everything Rafinha does well: explosive dribbling, sharp technique, low centre of gravity, left foot precision, and subtle changes of direction that dismantle defensive structures. Now he is a master in tight spaces, a devastating creator, and a decisive playmaker with elite final passing. His tactical mobility allows him to drift inside, attack the half spaces, create overloads, and open lanes for Estevão, Vinicius, João Pedro, or even Bruno Guimaraes. But he's not just a creator. Since last season, Rafinha has become a constant goal threat, arriving from the second line with perfect timing. And then comes the Premier League army: Estevão Willian, João Pedro, Matheus Cunha, and Richarlison, all of whom could play key roles in Ancelotti's 2026 system. Estevão, at only 18, dominates the right wing, but can also operate as a number 10. He carries the ball like early career Messi, glued to his feet, elastic, impossible to dispossess. His dribbling is superhuman, his technique Brazilian classic, and when he accelerates, defenders disappear. We've seen him eliminate elite centre-backs and score outrageous goals, like the one against Barcelona. He's breaking records for Chelsea and for Brazil, youngest Premier League assist maker. Youngest Champions League scorer in the club's history. And he has scored in all 5 of his starts for Brazil. And tactically, he is a dream for Ancelotti. Despite being listed as a winger, Estevão's role is much more complex. Chelsea use the right flank as a creative funnel, and he drifts inside with his left foot, forming triangles, creating overloads in the right half space, generating shooting lanes, drawing fouls, collapsing defensive blocks, and attacking gaps. He averages 3.7 successful dribbles per 90, not for show but for damage. He averages 2.9 shots per match, many of them lethal. And his mentality? At 18 years old, he takes penalties, free kicks and corners for Brazil, sharing the pitch with Vinicius and Casemiro. That says everything. João Pedro, Chelsea's number 9, brings something else entirely: elite close control in tight areas, clinical finishing with both feet and in the air, the vision to assist despite being a striker. Intelligent movement between the lines and into wide channels. He showed all of this while guiding Chelsea to the Club World Cup title, scoring and assisting along the way.
Yards without a challenge. Oh, it's a clever pass!
He has yet to score for Brazil, but based on talent alone, he must be Ancelotti's main number 9. Then there's Matheus Cunha, Manchester United's long-distance sniper, the best long-range shooter in the Premier League. A specialist in wonder goals, a master of depth, a relentless runner with elite two-way work rate. He adds chaos, energy, and finishing from anywhere. And Richarlison, in fantastic form for Tottenham. 7 goals, 2 assists, and a habit of scoring only beautiful goals.
Forcing Lazovic back and finding Richarlison!
His attitude and big moment energy make him invaluable. Finally, we reach the king, Neymar. When he is physically healthy, there is no better footballer on earth. Tight space dribbling, brilliant ball control, vision, creativity, finishing, improvisation. He is a complete offensive weapon. With 79 goals and 59 assists, he is Brazil's historic top scorer, surpassing Pelé and the protagonist of their last major achievements, Confederations Cup 2013.
Neymar! Wow!
And Olympic gold in Rio 2016.
Of Brazil! Gives Brazil!
His biggest enemy has always been his body. But Neymar's resurgence at Santos after a brutal, injury-filled season has reignited hope. 3 goals and 2 assists in 2 crucial matches saved Santos from relegation.
Neymar,
That momentum caught Ancelotti's attention, and Ancelotti himself has said it clearly. If Neymar is healthy, he is the missing piece that can make Brazil world champions. But unlike other years, Brazil is not just about attack. Their midfield might be even scarier. Brazil's midfield is where this team becomes truly dangerous. It's a blend of young talent and elite, battle-tested experience, and at the centre of it all stands Bruno Guimaraes.
So Guimaraes to deliver, and that is right on top of Dubravka! In fact, it's better than...
The Newcastle United midfielder has established himself as one of the very best in the Premier League, and under Carlo Ancelotti, he could become one of Brazil's defining players at the 2026 World Cup. Guimaraes is basically 2 players in one. Without the ball, he behaves like a pure holding midfielder, constantly scanning, pressing, and breaking up play as the deepest player in a 3-man unit. But the moment Brazil regain possession, he transforms into a box-to-box force, driving forward, creating chances, arriving in the box, and contributing goals and assists. He offers value in all 3/3 of the pitch, which is why he feels omnipresent in every match he plays. The numbers back this up. Guimaraes averages 7.71 duels, 1 per 90, more than Rodri, McAllister or Declan Rice. That's elite territory. It speaks to his willingness to do the dirty work, to engage, to fight, and to win battles. At the same time, he wins 6.28 possessions per 90, placing him in the same bracket as Rodri and McAllister midfielders, who define control at the highest level. Stylistically and tactically, Guimaraes belongs in the same conversation as Rodri, Declan Rice and Alexis McAllister, the Premier League's most complete central midfielders. And unlike those playing for possession-dominant giants, Guimaraes does this while playing for a team that defends far more. That makes his off-ball work even more impressive. His defensive output is comparable to elite holding midfielders at Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City. His attacking contribution is just as important. 5 goals and 5 assists in 22 matches barely scratch the surface of his influence. At Newcastle, he's had matches with 4 key passes per game, showing just how sharp his offensive vision really is. He doesn't just recover the ball, he turns defence into attack instantly. Alongside him is Casemiro, another Premier League heavyweight and a familiar face for Ancelotti. After a strong resurgence at Manchester United, 3 goals and 1 assist this season, Casemiro has rediscovered his long passing, physical dominance and leadership. For Brazil, he's already delivered moments of impact, like his goal against Senegal proving that he still rises on the biggest stages. Then there's Lucas Paquetá, one of Brazil's standout performers at the 2022 World Cup. His creativity, technical quality, and ability to operate between the lines give Ancelotti another high-level option in midfield. And Brazil's depth doesn't stop there. Douglas Luiz, Gerson, Andre Santos, and Ederson all offer different profiles: control, energy, physicality, or dynamism, giving Brazil a midfield rotation few nations on earth can match. At the back, Brazil finally looked like a team built to control chaos, and that starts with Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhaes. This centre-back pairing could be one of the most important foundations of the Seleção at the 2026 World Cup. Gabriel Magalhaes isn't just another defender, he is the leader of Arsenal's defence, the team that has conceded the fewest goals in the Premier League over the last 3 seasons. That alone puts him at the heart of the most dominant defensive unit in world football. Strong, fast, aggressive in duels, and elite in the air, Gabriel thrives in a high line. He reads the game superbly, covers wide spaces, intercepts relentlessly, blocks shots, and keeps his distribution simple and secure. On set pieces, he is a constant threat. This is the profile of a modern, complete centre-back, and Brazil finally have one in his prime. Alongside him stands Marquinhos, captain of PSG and leader of the current European champions. A versatile, intelligent, ball-playing defender, Marquinhos brings leadership, pace, composure, and elite distribution. He is crucial in building from the back and perfectly suited to possession-heavy systems under coaches like Luis Enrique. Together, Marquinhos and Gabriel form a pairing that blends authority, technique, and experience at the very highest level. Around them, Brazil have options to shape a dangerous back four. Caio Henrique at left back and Wesley from Roma on the right could complete a modern, aggressive defensive line. Even Alex Sandro, despite no longer being in his physical peak, remains a reliable and experienced option at left back. How Carlo Ancelotti uses this group will be decisive. Defensive fragility has haunted Brazil in recent World Cups and has played a major role in their disappointments. This is an area Ancelotti must get right because the tools are finally there, and behind it all stands Alisson Becker, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. Cat-like reflexes, elite one-on-one ability, world-class shot stopping, and absolute reliability. For Ancelotti, Alisson is a safety net few national teams can match. Add players enjoying strong form like Gabriel Martinelli, and young talents like Endrick, and the picture becomes clear. Brazil don't just have depth, they have variants, solutions, and answers all over the pitch. With this squad, Brazil have terrifying potential, and heading into the 2026 World Cup, no one will want to face them.